Hi, this is Pamela Zeman with Elemental Cuisine, Magical Foods from the Plant Kingdom. And today we have Avnish Bhardwaz from Brisbane, Australia. And he responded to one of my blogs on mindful eating. And the more I read of his blog, the more I wanted to collaborate with him and share with you some more ideas on mindful eating. So welcome, Avnish.
Thanks very much, Pam. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. And so you're into mindful eating, and I'm just wondering, what are some of the advantages that people can expect to have when they start being more mindful with what they're eating?
Pam, you are absolutely right. I think we take eating for granted. And as a matter of fact, we have to be mindful in everything we do. However, there are certain things that we are used to which are very, very important, and we are not as mindful as we should be. So through mindful eating, which is extremely, extremely important for us for our survival, I think we can get a lot of benefits in terms of our health, in terms of well-being, physical and as well as mental.
Mm-hmm. I hear a lot of people when they come to my classes, they say, I don't even want to have to think about my next meal. I don't want all this planning. I don't want to think about it. So what would you say to some of those people who really are not concerned about, they just want the energy. They don't really want to be mindful about what they're actually consuming?
Well, let me share a story with you. Actually, just on the weekend, I was at a friend's place. He invited us for lunch. A few of the friends gathered there. And, we were just chatting, catching up. Some of them we had not met for a long time. And once, the lunch was over, he asked us, hey, how was that fish? Mm-hmm. And, a lot of them just looked at each other and they said, what are you talking about? He said, oh, this was a special fish that I ordered. It was a freshwater fish. And, this guy only, gets it only from time to time. And, we were just so amazed, and people went back and tasted it again and then realized, wow, it was really, really good. Everyone was so much absorbed in just chatting away that we missed on tasting and, enjoying this delicious cuisine that he had prepared for us. And so coming back to your question on mindful eating is not only that if you're not very mindful, not only that we miss out on a lot of good things, but also it could also be, quite detrimental to our health as well at times. So mindful eating is very, very important to enjoy our food, to get maximum out of it, but at the same time, be aware of the health benefits and take care of ourselves.
Yeah, when you were talking about the people chattering away, I find that so many people are talking through their meals. And personally, when I've been on retreats where it's mindful eating and we have to sit and eat in silence, it truly is amazing how different the food tastes and how much more I felt nourished. And I didn't have to go back for more and always want more and more because I felt completely satisfied by what I was eating as I was being mindful.
Absolutely. The nutrients in the food, the subtle taste and the preparation and the passion with which it has been cooked. And if we are mindful about that and how our organs are accepting it or what is happening in our body during that process, mindful eating, brings out so much, so many benefits, so much in taste, everything.
I've heard that when people are really in a hurry, they're actually in a fight or flight mode. So they're in this mode of all the energy is in their thighs and their legs so that they can get away quickly. Whereas if we really take a minute to breathe, do some deep breathing, and just settle into what we're doing in the moment, you won't be in that fight or flight mode so that your stomach can actually digest that food more easily.
You are absolutely right. I think you have said it very, very well. We are time poor nowadays, and to basically it is a counterproductive mindset as well, because more we hurry, more we damage ourselves, more we miss out. And if we take, like you said, take a deep breath, eat it calmly, we enjoy it more, we benefit more from it, and we are more productive. As a matter of fact, then we have much more time on our hands.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive, but we actually get a lot more done when we take that time.
Yes, very much so.
You talked about the detriments to our health when we're not really aware and conscious of our eating. Can you talk more about that?
Absolutely. When we are eating and we do not know whether it was the right kind of food, whether we are able to digest that or not. So, and what our body needs at that particular time. If we get into these habits where we stop listening and simply eating whatever comes on our way. It can be something in terms of excess fat or excess carbohydrates or protein, something that we do not need. It will have a negative impact on our health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I encourage people to go to the produce section and just intuitively pick out some fruit or vegetable. And one day this cauliflower was just calling out to me, and I guess I hadn't had it in a while, but my body was just saying, "Go get that! Go get that!" You haven't had white for a while. You haven't had cruciferous. So to be able to calm our minds down enough to actually hear that, it's not an easy thing. It's simple, but it's not easy. Have you done a lot of meditating?
Yes, I mean, not in terms of traditional meditating, I would say, or what, it becomes a very complex subject. So I'm not into any serious meditation or any organized religion as such. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you, you have said in a very, very nice way that your body was calling for what it is, and no expert can tell us what our body needs. The expert advices are good, however, those are based on their own experience. Uh-huh. At times, they can tell us what they have heard from other people, but nobody knows what your body needs and what my body needs. Only you and I have that, and our bodies are always calling us, and they're sharing with us if we are prepared to listen. And it doesn't. Yeah.
I think the real key is knowing when it's an intuitive hit coming in versus an addictive hit, because if you're eating something that you know is bad for you, but you're saying, "Oh, but I really want this, my body really wants it," it's more of an addiction versus a true hunger for nourishment of particular foods.
Yes, and I think in whatever state you are, my advice to people would be, and this is what has actually worked for me, I don't punish my body excessively if it is pushing me for it, whether it is the real need for the body or just a habit that it has gone into. I think the golden principle to fix it is take a little bit less than what it is asking for. Uh-huh. Just stop at 80%, and that is the best way for you to find out whether it was good or bad. Take a moment, just slow down from wherever you are, and you will find the right way for yourself.
You had such a great analogy in your blog. I loved it when you talked about the stomach as a food processor. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes. When we listen to our body and understand what functions they have, our body is not, a food storage, so we cannot store as much. We cannot eat tomorrow's lunch today or tomorrow's dinner today. Uh-huh. It has its own limit. It has its size. Every organ has its own function. For example, intestines are for absorbing the nutrients or elimination process. They are not breaking down stuff as abdomen is, or abdomen has certain function as well, and they have particular size. And we all are individuals. We have different shapes and sizes and different requirements. Therefore, we have to be careful not to overfill it. And the analogy I used is, most people know that, if you fill up the food processor and then try to turn it on, it won't move. It has its own capacity. And so we all have to understand that capacity and not to exceed it. So the food processor, our abdomen, our stomach can work to its maximum capacity.
Yeah.
And
So
therefore can digest it to the best of its efficiency.
why do you think people overeat? I mean, I've certainly been there where it's just like maybe the food is so good, or I'm afraid I won't get to my next meal, or something emotional. I think there's a reason people are overeating besides just the lack of nutrients in most of the, I don't know about Australia, but the standard American diet is very poor.
Yes, I think it must be something in the human evolution, or how the food has always been scarce. It has been only in last 50 to 60 years that the food is available to us on demand. Previously, everything was seasonal. Nowadays, we can get any vegetable, fruits, or meat on demand whenever, 24/7. So we have never been in this kind of situation where availability of food is so plenty and so easy. So I think it is in our mind that somehow, that food may not be available later on. So that is why I think we try to stuff ourselves, not knowing. I mean, if we have little bit of patience and contentment, we know, we can get the food. We can go to the fridge, we can leave it, or even if you're drinking something, okay, we don't have to finish that in 5 minutes. It can take an hour, 2 hours. You will enjoy it more. You will get more for your money.
And there's the whole notion of comfort food, too, where people are really hungry for love. They're totally hungry for connection with themselves at a deeper level, with other people, and then they reach for some food like mashed potatoes or something that just makes them feel loved.
Yes, and my challenge in understanding this is that, does it solve the problem?
Yeah.
Whatever problem they are going to address, or does it compound the problem even more?
Yeah.
So again, like you had said earlier, take a deep breath and then think about it. And if you're still convinced, go for it.
Yeah.
And my advice would be, don't go all the way. Just stop somewhere 70%, 80%, and then see whether you're still right or not. So comfort food is okay as long as it is solving your problem. But if it is compounding the problem, then please think about it.
Yeah, well said. Well said. And I also like, Avnish, what you said about knowing that you're going to get so much more done if you eat your food slowly. It's so counterintuitive to people to think, oh, I'm going to get more done. I can almost imagine this hamster on a wheel just running, and not really getting what they want to get done because they're so mindless about it.
Yes, and absolutely. If they slow down a little, they will get more done. They will enjoy it more. They will get more out of it. And it is not going to happen overnight. So a gradual step-by-step approach. Don't be impatient to achieve it overnight. It's not going to happen. So take it easy. And, instead of achieving it in a day or a week, take a month, take 2 months, and you will get far along and far better.
Yeah, and not to beat ourselves up when we say, oh, I can't believe that I ate it like that, but just to say, wow, that's awesome. You have greater awareness now, and to really like pat ourselves on the back and say, all right, you're getting more mindful. That's great, rather than just being judgmental toward ourselves, because that doesn't do anybody any good.
Yes, absolutely. More mindful we are, better we are in everything. And I can't stress the importance of mindfulness on in anything and everything. Mm-hmm. However, eating is so important. It is for our life survival. And many times, we take it for granted, or we do not pay as much attention as we should.
Mm-hmm. And I've often told people that the more awareness you have with your food, the more awareness you're going to have in every aspect of your life. Some people say, I don't want to know about the slaughterhouses. I don't know. I don't want to know what happens to these animals. But I think if we shut our awareness off and to just go ahead and consume things and not really wanting to know about the origins of that food, it really keeps us from our own source as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that is important, what we are eating. And different people have different opinions on this, because some people, pay more attention about animals. Other people, on the one extreme, are just totally vegetarians. And I think for this is my personal point of view, is that even plants have as much life as the living animals. It is just the limitation of our senses. So
Yeah.
who knows, when we are picking up a branch of a tree or a spinach from a field, the tree could be crying. It's just a limitation of our senses that we can't sense it. We can't know what is happening.
Yeah, I always think about how many plants it takes to feed an animal. So if we're cutting a lot of plants, that makes a big difference too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so those are kind of things that we have to be aware of, and it makes life more interesting and more enjoyable and more harmonious. And our, the whole universe that we share with each other will be a better place to live for everyone.
Oh, I'm so glad you're on the planet. I love that. And just to align with your own values. Like, I think most people are very compassionate, and I think people are caring, and not to align with my values, but to align with your own values. What are your values, and are you consuming that kind of energy with how the food was prepared, how it was transported, how it was harvested, the whole works?
Yes, absolutely. And we all have different values depending upon our conditions, depending upon our environments, and that is how we should. However, the universal values, the planet we live in, we all share that. And eventually, I think whether we like it or not, all the values have to merge into the universal values, whether we accept it easily or we accept it kicking and screaming.
Right, right.
The universe is far more powerful than anything else. The nature dictates its terms, and if we live in harmony, we are happy. And more we try to struggle with it, it's like when we are in the sea or in a water somewhere, and if we go with the waves, we will have fun. Mm-hmm. But if we try to go against the waves, we will struggle.
Right, right. It sounds like your anti-aging drug. You talked about that in one of your blogs. What is the anti-aging drug?
I'm sorry, could you repeat it again?
Yeah, the anti-aging drug you said was happiness. So if you want fewer wrinkles on your face, if you don't want to age as quickly, try to be a little bit happier.
Yes, okay. Yeah, in that, basically, I wanted to talk about that is our body is the best pharmacy we have.
Uh-huh.
The pharmacy companies are struggling, and they're trying to understand and how they can grab it for their own profits, but nobody is able to match the drugs that it produces, and therefore, if we want to live longer and live better, the best thing is to live in harmony and to be happy, mm-hmm. To accept our circumstances, to count our blessings, instead of just going for more and more and more. If you are not enjoying it, it's of no use. Mm-hmm. So to understand that and be happy, to get maximum whatever in terms of analogy, in terms of food, whatever you have in your plate, enjoy it to the best. Mm-hmm. Get most out of it, and that way you will live longer and better.
And what we do to the earth, we do to ourselves, and it just keeps coming around and around. I think how we're harvesting some of the plants, what we're using for chemicals, and more people are on drugs, and we're putting more chemicals in the land, and it really all comes back to us. So it isn't just like the food we're eating, but that food that we're eating, if we're paying more for organic, we're actually doing everyone in the world a favor. It isn't just for us, it's for the whole planet.
Exactly. And we are also, interconnected. We talk about that, this is my family, this is my friends, this is my relatives. But we are all relatives because we are all interconnected.
Yeah.
We are sharing this planet, and therefore, yes, the degree of relationship could vary, but we have to understand we are all in this together. And, by seeing everyone happy, we will all be happy ourselves as well.
Yeah, yeah. And, it reminds me of, I think it was Wayne Dyer who said that if you practice a random act of kindness, your immune system actually is built up. And then he said even the act of witnessing somebody else do a kind thing for another being on the planet, by witnessing that, our immune system is increased just by that. I thought that was just so amazing. And it's free. It doesn't cost anything. There's no pharmacy you have to go get it. You just look for the person or the animal or the plant nearest you and do something kind, and you will increase your immune system.
Absolutely right. And it is so simple that, sometimes we miss this kind of thing. So just, you imagine you are surrounded by animals or people, and they are all very unhappy. Uh-huh. And so just imagine this kind of an environment. Now, whether you do it or something happens, then all of a sudden, all of these people are smiling and happy and now you look at this scenery. So scenery 1, where they were all very unhappy. The scenery 2, these guys are smiling and happy. Which scene is better?
Yeah, I can feel it in my body.
And so which scenery would you like to be in? And therefore, when you surround yourself with people who are happy, so whatever you do to make it happen, it is for your own good because you are improving your own scenery.
Yeah, totally. I remember the story about heaven and earth, and somebody died and went to, the other side, and here people had all this food. There's just this abundant amount of food everywhere, but people were so unhappy because they had these really long chopsticks and they couldn't feed themselves. And the same scenario, somebody went to the other side, and here's all this abundant food, and they had these long chopsticks, and they were feeding each other. And everybody was completely blissed out and totally well-fed and happy. It's just like we're helping each other out. We're not just trying to get for ourselves, which really is a living hell, I think, just trying to get more for ourselves.
Absolutely. Such a fantastic story of this long chopsticks, isn't it? We cannot feed ourselves, but if we feed each other, it's much, much better.
Yeah, everybody wins. I was reading this book called The Mystic Cookbook. I think I shared with you the other day about the Mystic Cookbook, and she says to have a meal and to really be mindful and maybe even wear blindfolds, or maybe have a meal where you feed each other or write little notes on the bottom of the plate or, do some really mindful, thoughtful things as you're eating the meal, and just to have fun, for one, and to get more out of the food.
Maybe when someone else is feeding us, we are more mindful. We have to pay attention to their hands. And there are other things also that, sometimes we do not realize. The variety of color that we put into the food, the decor that we have, the aromas that we smell, all these things bring our attention and, catch our attention to the food and make us more mindful. That is why we enjoy them more. Yeah,
we're all looking for beauty too. I mean, we have that eye hunger, which is looking for beautiful things. They look for the ripe fruit, and it's all in our DNA, I think.
Yeah, but I think maybe indirectly these things bring our attention to the food, and that is why we enjoy it more,
Yeah.
because we have brought the attention. I don't know
Right.
whether the capsicum is green or red. How does it matter? But when we see green and red mixed together, all of a sudden we pay more attention and we enjoy it more.
Yeah. Yeah. And making altars with the plates and everything that we serve it with, it all makes a difference.
Exactly. I mean, if the food is nicely put on the plate and properly arranged,
Yeah.
just it will taste much better.
Oh, yeah.
However, if you just spread that same food here and there, and it's not looking good, it may not be as useful.
I think we've all had meals where it was prepared with love, and you can actually taste that love, and you're taking in that energy of love versus somebody who is in a hurry and they're just chopping through it and just trying to get it on the table for you. You taste that energy as well.
100% right. And all that love that gone into preparation of the food, we basically owe it to them to be more mindful.
Yeah.
and to realize that for their benefit, plus more so for our own.
How did you get into this, Avnish?
Well, it's basically, I think, over a period of time, I have actually lived a very, very busy work and family life. At times I even suffered from the same habits that I had gone into. The work-life balance have been very, very challenging, which is, all of us face.
Yeah.
I did become, I was declared diabetic, suffering from diabetes type 2. And my doctor said to me, you will have to make major changes to your exercise and lifestyle. And that started me thinking, I used to be so healthy.
Yeah.
And I migrated to Australia about 22 years ago. Before that, I lived in India. And I somehow or the other, one way, I do not know, it wasn't just the circumstances, the challenges. I was very, very healthy. Perhaps, the food wasn't plentiful, or I was very, very busy. I was missing on certain things. Somehow, directly or indirectly, it impacted my health, and I was so healthy all the time. But coming to Australia, perhaps relaxed it more. There was plenty available. The lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
Over a period of 15 years or so, I started putting on weight and, wasn't that healthy and became even, type 2 diabetic. So I started thinking about it, what was it, different, and how to change it. I actually struggled. I couldn't even exercise because my doctor said, look, go to the gym. I went to the gym, but, I found it challenging to exercise. But then all of a sudden I said, look, I don't have to achieve it overnight. I can take it easy and go slowly. So I started doing breathing exercises. I started doing gentle stretches. And gradually, voila, I found, wow, it was so easy and I was unnecessarily struggling.
Wow. So what are the biggest changes that you've noticed in your health and in your emotions as well, I guess?
Oh, absolutely. I think the physical and mental states are interrelated. So by calming down and, not being so desperate to achieve everything overnight, and taking things step by step and being more mindful, being more aware, I have now, very pleased that I'm not diabetic anymore. I enjoy very good health. My weight according to the BMI and everything is perfect. And not only that, I feel far more energetic than I ever felt.
Wow.
Much better than even before I was, back home in India. So I just kick myself, hey, there's such a good opportunity I lost for nothing. And just because I just got into certain habits and just being aware of what I'm doing and not being impatient has given me tremendous benefits.
Yeah. That It's really key is to know what is a habit and have that
Yeah.
awareness that I can change that habit, and you have to have willingness to give up some things. You know, you have to give up certain things in order for it to happen. And I think some people don't really want to go through change, and other people are very motivated to see a change in their life. So I'm really glad that you took some time out today to talk to us, just so that, you know, we can reach more people and say, hey, if you are struggling with this, you're not alone. And there are a
Yes.
lot of people who have overcome it. And like you
Yep.
say, you have time, just do it gradually. Some people, you know, just want to make a change overnight. That's just their personality, and that's great. But you just know that you can do it in your own way and that it works.
Absolutely. And not to compare ourselves with anybody. We all are individuals. We are all different. We have different, conditions. Not to be too hard on ourselves, not to measure ourselves with the wrong measurements.
Right, right.
Because, if we try to judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, I think this was one of Einstein's say, if you try to judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it's going to fail all the time.
Yeah, yeah. And I've heard some people say certain animals are stupid because they don't speak the language. It's like they have their own language, you know.
Look, once actually I read an article in one of the newspapers in Australia where they were trying to say that native animals in Australia are lazy. So they were basically trying to say something else, but they were pointing out at kangaroos and koalas that they are sitting under a tree whole day, munching on the grass or just going here and there.
Yeah.
And that got me thinking, who is more stupid? These people who are just chasing their tail, get up in the morning, run for 10 kilometers, sweat, get ready, go to office, come back, do this, do that.
Debt.
Struggling the whole day, or this kangaroo, which is sitting under a tree, munching the grass, looking at them, perhaps laughing,
Yeah,
and
taking in some sunshine.
it's a different measure, So
Yeah, Totally. Well, if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best site for them to go to, Avnish?
I have a blog on WordPress at the moment. Is Bhardwaz.
Better spell it for us. You better spell that for us.
Yeah, if they actually, I'm actually currently writing a book on therapeutic hunger as well, and there is a blog. So if they just Google therapeutic hunger,
Okay.
they will find my blog.
Okay.
Through Google as well, and through other search engines right now. I'm getting a lot of engagement through that. And hopefully the book will be out soon in next 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
In which I will share the various concepts, different exercises, some success stories, perhaps also some suggestions to certain challenges that we face, like you mentioned about comfort food or eating more during stressful situations, or not understanding what is more energy versus what is health. So consolidating all that that I have been sharing through the blogs, but I'll put that in a book as well.
Okay, so people can just Google therapeutic hunger and they will find you. And if they want to find me, just go to www.elementalcuisine.com, and we would love to hear from you. We love to hear your thoughts on this and your ideas, and thank you very much for your time, Avnish. I wish you all the best in the world.
Thanks for having me, Pam, and it's such a lovely talk.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.